And welcome back to Hannity. So day after day, the alt-radical left destroy Trump, propaganda media. They show their true colors, especially over at NBC. Now let's take a look at just a selection of the bizarre, weird, out-of-line conspiracy theories and insults. This just aired last night. This is one night only.
It seems to me that there's always an element of almost Romanov absurdity, of royal family absurdity with the Trumps.
One wonders whether they now perceive that there's political upside in increasing escalation with Russia as a sort of means of producing some sort of domestic political effect with regards to the ongoing investigation there.
Donald Trump could say that the missile attack proves that Donald Trump is independent of Vladimir Putin. You could have advised Donald Trump to do the missile attack because he would then be able to say that. What we do know is that a president mired deep in scandal involving Russian influence in his election fired off some harmless missiles at the end of a very bad scandal week for him.
All right, joining us now with reaction is the U.S. editor-at-large of DailyMail.com, Piers Morgan. He used to be a competitor. How are you, sir?
Good stuff. Great. I must be competing with you anymore.
Oh, I'm glad. All right.
It was a daily hell.
Oh, come on. It wasn't that bad. I love the Daily Mail. Yeah. I love the way you guys do news. You cover a lot of U.S. news, and the format is better than 90% of newspapers.
Yeah, because it's very straightforward. They put up, 1,200 stories a day. Yeah. Nothing stays up for more than 24 hours. It's very addictive, but very comprehensive. Doesn't really take...
A lot of gossip. I like gossip.
A lot of gossip. But it doesn't really take your view. It lets you make your mind up. It just tells you what's going on.
Yeah. All right. So for 8 months here in America, and you know Donald Trump. You don't always agree with him, but you like him.
Right.
You think he's mischaracterized by the media?
Oh, my God, it's unbelievable. I mean, you've known him...
over 2 decades.
Right, so I've known him 10 years. I was on the first season of Celebrity Apprentice.
You won.
The President of the United States made me his apprentice. What more could you want in life?
Right.
But I came to know Donald Trump very well, and I just find the characterization of him as some kind of monster, the new Hitler, as I keep being told. A, it's offensive, to anyone who had to suffer from what Hitler did. B, he's not a monster. This is a guy who's a very successful businessman. You and I know he's a good family man. Fundamentally,
he's fun. But people don't see the fun that if you're with him.
It's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
And now he's the most powerful man in the world, and he wants to be a success. What I don't like is what looks like the combined will of many sections of the media to not just beat him up because they're all making tons of money by beating him up, whether it's New York Times subscriptions flying through the roof or Colbert, who beats him up every night and is doing great ratings.
He is a comedian.
Right. I've got no problem with any of that. That's all fine. Just be honest about why you're doing it. Right? You're doing it to make money. But where I have a real problem is where it descends into a sense that I'm getting of a will for him to fail. How does that help America if the combined will of many sections of the media is we want this guy to fail and we're going to trash him every second of every day, we're going to misrepresent and mischaracterize, in my view, how monstrous he is, and the pure intent of that is for him to fail. When
you combine your background and experience in print with the years you spent in television, and you watch some of this, for 8 months they've been advancing a conspiracy theory. That Russia and the Trump campaign colluded to help him get elected. Now they're actually saying that Putin and Trump, they got together and they decided, okay, we'll launch this minimal amount of chemical weapons. Trump can respond and distract the media from the Trump-Putin conspiracy with no evidence after 8 months.
It's utterly ridiculous.
It is utterly ridiculous.
More than that, it's incredibly
I can't say it as well as you. Utterly ridiculous. Yeah.
But it is because, let's just think about that for a moment. We're expected to believe that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin get together and they plan the mass murder of children to make some kind of point that they're no longer best buddies. Really? Really? We think this is a legitimate conspiracy theory?
This is NBC News.
Listen, I watched Chris Matthews, wasn't it, talking about them being the Romanovs, the Trumps. He ended up by saying, not just a comparison to the Romanovs, who were this royal family in Russia for 300 years, but said, and we know how that ended. Well, I'll tell you how it ended. The Romanovs all got slaughtered at the start of what became communist Soviet Union. They were slaughtered with guns and knives in a most brutal and disgusting manner. And whatever your view of the Romanovs, That's not really a comparison I don't think anyone on American media should be making about the Trump family. What are we supposed to deduce from that comment? That somehow Jared, Ivanka, and Donald are all going to be murdered by communists?
His 10-year-old son. They're attacking his wife.
Right.
They're attacking Ivanka. They're going after women. To me, it is just a new low. Look, I've said the words on this program often, journalism's dead, and I really believe that. I believe America has an information crisis when major networks buy into bizarre conspiracies.
Yeah, I take issue. I'm not going to agree that journalism is dead, but journalism at the moment is going through a very strange phase in America where a lot of people are pinning their mast to a pure anti-Trump agenda. The guy won a free democratic election. There is, right now, absolutely zero evidence linking Donald Trump to any collusion with the Russians to fix that election.
James Clapper, James Comey, Admiral Rogers all said no evidence.
There is no evidence.
None.
Now, if some emerges, that's a different story.
Different story.
Right? But I've seen nothing that links him to any collusion to fix that election. Now we see him, through his people like his Secretary of State, being very tough on Putin
and Russia.
Right? And saying we've reached an all-time low. We've seen him attack Syria directly against what Putin would have wanted. This is very strange behavior for a poodle.
Yeah.
This is more of a Rottweiler, right?
Okay.